Good evening, everyone. This is the Doctor. It is 8:23 p.m. in the Pacific Northwest right now, and today we are going to be talking about where the Final Fantasy XIV raid is and why you should all put your Gungnir's down so that there's not a riot in the streets right now. So if you didn't know, in the JP version of the Final Fantasy XIV event for War of the Visions, there was a raid event that would populate when you essentially did the EX missions at a higher percentage, where when you completed higher difficulty battle, there was a percentage chance that a raid battle would open for you and that you would be able to participate in the raid battle. Now, the raid battle started at level 1, and then as you continued to fight it, as you continued to progress, you would increase levels and increase your rewards. And you guys may have noticed that there is a raid tab in the far plane, but you might also notice that there's no raid right now, and some of you out there, if you're like me or the people who I've been talking to on my Twitch, there's been this little bit of hope held out in us that we might get a Final Fantasy XIV raid as a part 2 to the event. We thought it might be coming, we weren't sure. We know that JP had one, and I don't have for sure the answer for you. But my theory is that there is no Final Fantasy XIV raid coming, and just with a couple of things that I'm going to show you and a couple of things that I've learned on Ultima, I'm going to kind of show you why I think we're not going to be getting a Final Fantasy XIV raid. So my first reason that I don't believe we're getting one is because we got something called Conquest in our missions. And Conquest is something that did not exist on the JP side of War of the Visions. And through Conquest, we got a ton of rewards via quests. If you look at our rewards, just looking at the amount of tomestones, there's 20 tickets for Final Fantasy XIV. There's upwards of almost 15,000 tombstones here. That's enough, literally, to just buy Thancred straight out. You could buy as much as you really wanted in the shop just with that many tombstones. And these are rewards that the JP players of War of the Visions did not get. And the reason they did not get this is because they had a reward tier that was based on the raid that they were going to be doing. So there were no quests for the raid, but the raid acts kind of like a PvP quest in terms of, depending on how far you've ranked up or leveled up your monster, you get a tier of rewards, and that tier of rewards is what's gonna be given to you instead. Now, that tier right here that's shown is at the very top. It's gonna be 2,000 Visior, 5,000 tombstones. There's another 2,000 Visior, 5,000 tombstones, 1,500 Visior, 3,000 tombstones. So this tier list just kind of kept going and going, and I'm not sure if this is a picture of a daily tier list. I'm not even honestly sure if this is for the whole event, but this is what I found when I was doing my research. And to me, comparing these rewards to the rewards that we got with Conquest, we got an insane amount of more rewards with Conquest. The only thing we didn't get was Visior, and honestly, you're probably not going to place first. You're probably not even going to place top 500. So you're only missing out on 1,000 Visior, and you're only losing about 13,000 tombstones. Or you're gaining 13,000 tombstones. So in terms of us not getting the raid, I believe that we got Conquest instead, and that this system will show up for us. We will get raids in the future. But right now, we just aren't going to be getting them. Now, this is the quest list, just for further verification, of all the JP quests that they had turned in. You can see that it only references 5 battles for their quests, and for us, we have 6 battles because it includes the Conquest for the first section. So, this is further just further facts that, we're not going to be getting a raid, probably. It was probably already built in with Conquest. So the question a lot of you guys are probably going to be asking is, why the hell aren't we getting a raid? What's going on here? Well, if you look around, or if you read about how War of the Visions was on launch for the JP side, you'll learn that there was a lot of problems with the first raid. And by a lot of problems, there was a lot of network problems. So raids can be done in 1-person, 2-person, or 4-person. And it's very similar to our multi-battle, if you've ever experienced our multi-battles. And if you have experienced our multi-battles, you're probably throwing your phone against the wall, you're getting frustrated as all hell, because you're disconnecting constantly, and it's a constant issue just to stay connected to the game. And in the JP version, they had this with the raid system, and you can imagine how frustrated it would be if you had a multi-quest that you had to first spawn by doing EX missions or by doing other EX missions, and then you try to go into your multi-quest or your raid and do it with other people, and then you crash. And it was so bad on launch that they actually took down the raid, they worked on it for a couple days, and then they put it back up 3 or 4 days later in a better place. Now, if I were a betting man, knowing Gummy from the first Brave Exvius and knowing kind of how they operate, my bet is that the servers are going to be fixed a lot better after a few of the patches come out. Because in Brave Exvius, we always tended to know when there was going to be a really bad server hiccup or really bad maintenance, because they wouldn't fix the issues from JP until the patches actually came out in the global version for us. So you would know, like, oh man, this next patch totally destroyed JP players where they couldn't even play for a month. And then we would get to global, and then you would see that entire thing happen over again, because they're not proactively changing the code from global to JP or JP to global. They are just importing the updates and not necessarily changing anything to them. And this is not the best process. Gummy is not the best at handling this type of stuff. But what they will do is they will adjust things like this, like giving us conquest missions instead of putting a raid, to just completely avoid an entire shit show. So for those of you out there who are hoping and praying that we're going to get a Final Fantasy XIV raid, if you're like Zokar in my channel and you are like diehard Thancred, that's who you're going to get, that's who you're pursuing, that's what you're after, and you're hoping and you're praying like, oh god, the Final Fantasy XIV raid's going to come, I would not rely on that to save you, because I think we have been given over-generous tickets. We've been overly generous on everything that we've been given with the Conquest system. And even when you look at the Conquest battles are exactly the same as the raid battles. So I really think that we are not going to be getting the raid battles for the Final Fantasy XIV event. Now, that being said, I could be wrong. I do not know everything. As much as I might like to think I do, and as much as, or as annoyed as my husband is with me that I think I do, I really don't think that we'll be getting it in the global version, just because of all the problems that happened on the launch of the JP version. On the plus side, though, what that means is that in our next big patch, we'll probably get a lot of the multi-quest servers fixed. A lot of those things will probably change so that we're able to actually play multi-quests and do them without the game crashing constantly. I think there's going to be a lot of good things coming down the road, and this is just one of those changes that, you know, they snuck in, they tried to kind of wheedle it in a little bit. You can even see by the way that the quests are laid out for Conquest, there's a little bit of overlapping, at least on my screen, on how the tombstones and stuff are lining up. It almost looks like they just crammed another quest in there and called it good on that. So thank you so much for listening, you guys. This was just a quick video to kind of inform you of something we were talking about in my Discord channel, and we were kind of exploring, you know, what was going to come, and people were really excited for the Final Fantasy XIV raid, and when we started looking up things, we were just like, oh, I don't know if it's coming, I don't know if it's going to happen. So thank you so much for the support, you guys. I've been loving all the comments you're leaving, all the likes. It's just been amazing. We just hit affiliate on Twitch. It's meant so much to me. So please continue to do that. Please just drop a comment, say hi, you know, come into our Discord and talk to me. You can literally just walk in and just message me. I might be asleep when you message me, but you can message me and I will get right back to you, swear to God, as soon as I possibly can. For the most part. Anyway, thank you so much, all of you. Thank you, Team Tonberry and Team Gillsnapper. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. And I hope you're willing to put your Gungners down and not completely lose your shit over this revelation of information. Talk to you guys later.